What's up and welcome back to my channel. I hope all of you are doing good and staying safe. The pandemic has hit all of us in ways that we did not imagine, and so I sincerely hope that you guys are taking care of yourself and of your families as well. And now I want to say that it's been a while since I've spoken to you guys, and it feels so good to be here back in front of the camera with my community. And I am seeing you for the very first time after the Miss Universe 2020 pageant has gotten over. The last 2 weeks had been one hell of a ride, and what a journey. First of all, I want to take a moment to congratulate Andrea Miza, Miss Mexico, who is now Miss Universe 2020. What a stunning performance you gave. And also a huge congratulations to Adeline Castellino, who represented India so beautifully. One of the best representatives that we have sent to Miss Universe in recent times, I gotta admit. And Adeline's journey, I think, has taught all of us. We've all followed her journey with the dedication that she was preparing for the last 3-4 years. She's poured her heart and soul into this journey of hers, and we've seen it up close. And so I think it's a lesson for all of us, and it shows how difficult it is to actually bag that title. It is no easy feat, and all of the contestants who are representing their countries at the Miss Universe platform have put in so much hard work, and each of them has taught all of us so much. They're all winners in their own places, but it was destiny that only one woman could end up winning the title. Now in today's video, I'm going to be doing a quick recap of the top 5 question and answer round, as well as the final statements given by the top 5 contestants at Miss Universe, and doing a review. And the reason I'm doing this is because there's a very key point that I'm going to be talking about towards the end of this video. I think there's something very important that all of us can actually learn from Miss Mexico's win. And so if you're interested in knowing why Miss Mexico was Miss Universe 2020, what was that key quality about hers that stood out, then keep watching. Now, to avoid going back and forth, I'm going to pick up the country's answer and also their final statement at the same time. And so the first country in top 5 that we have is Mexico.
If you were the leader of your country, how would you have handled the COVID-19 pandemic?
I believe there's not a perfect way to handle this hard situation, such as COVID-19. However, I believe that what I would have done was create the lockdown even before everything was that big. Because we lost so many lives. And we cannot afford that. We have to take care of our people. That's why I would have taken care of them since the beginning.
So Mexico was asked a question regarding the current pandemic that's going on and how she would have handled it if she was the leader of a country. We all know that the pandemic is a very hot and trending topic, and so we definitely expected quite a few questions regarding the COVID-19 pandemic in the 2021 pageants, and also at Miss Grand in 2020. Again, the finale questions were about the pandemic. So we definitely need to be prepared about this certain topic, and I think this question was quite predictable. And so content-wise, I think Mexico did an amazing job at her answer. She was very specific that she would have implemented the lockdown sooner, and I really appreciate that clarity and, not being too diplomatic, not beating around the bush, just giving one answer. Of course, I love the fact that she points out there is no perfect way to handle the situation. But it's just ending the answer there would not have been enough. You do have to give a very specific solution. And I don't think this is the type of question in pageants where you would want to be diplomatic, because as a beauty pageant winner, as a public title holder, they do expect you to have very strong opinions on certain things. You have to raise your voice where it's needed. And so I think Mexico did that with such composure, such poise, such grace. About her delivery, it may seem as if she's nervous or she's taking too much time to think. But in her next round, when she spoke her final statement, she actually used the translator, and there we saw that she was much more fluid in her communication. And so I think the time that she's taking is just because of English not being her first language. And so it was just the translation in her head which was taking a while. And I think she finished her answer in 30 seconds, the time given to the contestants. Right on time, very balanced answer. Coming on to the final statement, the topic given to Mexico was changing beauty standards. quite predictable. Again, we already had the list of topics that were going to be asked. Those were shared with the contestants, and that is usually the case in international pageants, national pageants. You do have an idea of the topics that the questions might be around, and also the topics that you may have to speak on, but you don't know exactly which topic or which question you're going to get.
Vivimos en una sociedad que cada vez está más avanzada.
We live in a society that more and more is more in advance.
Y así como hemos avanzado como sociedad, también hemos avanzado en los estereotipos.
As we have advanced as a society, we've also advanced with stereotypes.
Hoy en día, la belleza no radica solamente en cómo nos vemos.
Nowadays, beauty isn't only the way we look.
Para mí, la belleza radica en nuestro espíritu, en nuestra alma y los valores con los que nos manejamos.
For me, beauty radiates not only in our spirit, but in our hearts and the way that we conduct ourselves.
No permitan nunca que alguien les diga que no tienen valor.
Never permit someone to tell you that you're not valuable.
I loved how she said that as society has progressed, we have also made progress with stereotypes surrounding beauty, and then how she turns into the modern definition of beauty and ends her statement on an inspirational note. And I think it's so well balanced and it sums up so perfectly. And again, she seemed so confident and poised. If you just look at her delivery, if you just watch her speaking, she feels and stands like a winner, and I really appreciate that about Mexico. And in this round, she chose to use her native language. A lot of her fans were in the audience, and I think that also helped her connect with the audience. There was a lot of cheering going on for Mexico. And so I think that this shows that Mexico knows how to use that stage. She knows what to do with that platform, and she's also a people's person. She knows how to connect. All of this is not just the contestants, answering the question or speaking their statement. It's also how are they with people? How would they represent Miss Universe? How would they be as a title holder? And so there's a lot of strategy that goes into this as well. Next up, we have India. Now, Adeline Castellino, Miss Universe India, did an amazing job at the pageant. She's made all of us so proud. But in top 5, I really feel that Adeline was dealt a few difficult cards. Both the questions that she has gotten, her top 5 question as well as her final statement topic, were quite political topics to be speaking about.
Should countries lock down due to COVID-19 despite the strain on their economies? Or should they open their borders and risk a potential increase in infection rates?
Another COVID-19 question, like I said, very trending topic.
Good evening, universe. Well, coming from India and witnessing what India is experiencing right now, I have realized something very important. That nothing is more important than your health of your loved ones. And you have to draw a balance between economy and health. And that can only be done when the government works with the people hand in hand and produces something that will work with the economy. Thank you.
Very well balanced answer. I think given the political question that Adeline had, she could not really go to any extreme about it, and I like that she points out that the government has to work with the people. That was a really powerful phrase to include in that answer. Her delivery was also very strong, very composed, the poise, the grace, everything was there. But if you look at the answer overall, the content, she doesn't really go to any particular solution, whether it would be lockdown or whether it would be saving people. But then again, this is a dilemma that every country is facing. I don't think there is a right answer to dealing with the pandemic and which solution would be better. Because if you don't do the lockdown, then people are going to die because of the infection. And if you do the lockdown, then it impacts the economy and people don't have jobs and there's no way to put food on the table. And so that is why I think it was quite a tricky question, but Adeline managed to answer it beautifully and she gave a very well-rounded answer. Now coming to the final statement, Adeline was given the topic free speech and the right to protest. Again, a very political issue to be talking about at that platform. And here's what India had to say on it.
The right to protest. We've seen many protests in the recent days. Especially I want to point out the protests that women have made throughout the years with equal rights. Until today we lack in them. Because protest helps us raise our voice against what's happening, against inequality. It helps minorities in any democracy to raise their voice. So the protest is very important.
But what's not important is when you use it, because with every right comes a responsibility. So use it with power. Thank you.
So Adeline was off to quite a good start here in her final statement. She said that we've seen a lot of protests. That was nice addressing the situation. But then I expected her to either talk about the farmers' protest because that was her advocacy as well, or I expected her to talk about the fellow contestants because I think that would have been a great opportunity to talk about what's happening in Myanmar, what's happening in Israel, what's happening across the world, and because you're around contestants who are from those countries, and the way Myanmar and Singapore were raising their voices against the protests that are happening. So in this answer, if Adeline had included, and this is just my personal opinion, if Adeline had spoken about, I've seen how it's affected my fellow sisters and how freedom of speech and how Miss Universe gives you that platform, I was expecting the answer to go in that direction. However, she switched it to women's rights and how women have been fighting for equal rights, which is also a protest, but not as relevant. I think with everything going on in the world, there were bigger elephants in the room that could have been addressed. Also, what happened towards the end is that the time was running up and it felt like she was trying to gather her thoughts and come to a conclusion, which did not really happen the way I think she intended it to happen. Solely based on the contestants' performance, I can see why Adeline may have lost out on a few points here. While the judges was scoring her, she also faltered a bit and looked more nervous here compared to when she was giving her answer to the question earlier. Adeline could have performed better because when we saw Andrea right before her, she looked very calm and confident, and so the competition was very, very intense. The next country we have is Brazil.
In many countries, women are still considered incapable of being world leaders. Convince these countries that they're wrong.
Women are such an important part of this society, and just because we're not encouraged in the same way that men are, we have our potential wasted. The world needs women contributions because we came for some reason, and I invite every woman to understand that we are the leaders of our lives, and yes, we can do a lot for our communities. So please take your power.
So talking about Brazil's answer, I think she was off to an okay start. And I was wondering, okay, where is this answer really going? Because in the first part of her answer, she was actually just addressing the situation that women have not been encouraged as much as men to take up leadership positions. However, towards the end of her answer, she really took on a powerful stance to it, and she was speaking like a motivational speaker does, because I was also noticing her body language with her hand, which she was moving quite a lot. Now, when it comes to beauty pageants, from someone who's going to have the title of Miss Universe, it's not just what you say, but it's also how you say it. And so while initially her body language was bothering me because of the way the answer was going, but towards the end I started to see the power that she brought to her answer, and take power and we are the leaders of our lives. Those were really powerful phrases that Brazil included in her answer. And so she was overall very inspiring, which really worked for her. Now for the final statement round, Brazil had the topic of mental health, and so let's see what she said.
Mental health is still a very stigmatized topic, and it keeps us from giving the right assistance to those in need. So may we all tonight remember to normalize conversations about anxiety or depression, because we all hurt sometimes, but we don't need to face it alone. May we all come together, because togetherness is our strength, and together we can overcome anything. So let's support each other, let's share empathy. Thank you.
So Brazil's approach towards talking about the topic of mental health was very solution oriented, I feel, which is great. I think she did address the situation that we have all been there. We have to normalize the conversations around it. And she also spoke about having empathy. And so I think Brazil just showcased her personality here. She's just that type of person who is always very motivating and inspirational. And so that you could see both in her answer as well as her final statement. I think I can see where the fire in her comes from, and that is reflected in her body language, which is very strong. And so I think that's not really a bad quality to have. It's just something different from what I've seen in Andrea, who is Miss Universe now. But I think overall, very smart, thought out statement. Now, so far, I want to point here that when we look at Mexico and Brazil, the reason we're doing this analysis video is because we want to review the pageant. We want to understand what the judges were probably thinking. Although we're not there, but still the answer and the statement is what we have. And so when it came to India, I think you can see that the clarity, and there was no specific solution that was given to the answers. Again, no hit towards India, but Mexico and Brazil were the top two. And so we're trying to understand how the scoring must have been done. You can see a lot of consistency when it comes to Andrea's performance. You can see consistency when it comes to Brazil's performance. And if you've attended any of my workshops or sessions, or if you're a part of the Conquer family, that you would know how much I emphasize on the importance of consistency when it comes to performing in a pageant. If you're new to this channel, then Conquer is my very own, one-of-its-kind, completely online right now pageant training program. And if you want to know more details, then I'm going to leave the link in the description box below, so don't forget to check it out. The next country that we have is the Dominican Republic.
The night she won Miss Universe, Susie Tunzi explained the importance of teaching leadership to young girls. How would you do that as Miss Universe?
Gracias por la pregunta.
Good night. Thank you for the question.
Vengo de una familia completamente llena de mujeres,
I come from a family completely filled with women,
de las cuales me he impulsado para ayudarlas hoy día,
of which have helped me, propelled me to help them today.
trabajando con mi organización sin fines de lucro Orfanato Niños de Cristo.
Working with my nonprofit, Fines de Cristo.
Entiendo que no tengo que tener un título para ayudar a todas aquellas niñas necesitadas a enseñarles cómo ser líder.
I understand that I don't need a title to be able to help others and to be able to support them.
Gracias.
Now, coming to Dominican Republic's answer, the question clearly stated that just like Zosie has spoken about leadership in front of women, how would you do that? And while Dominican's answer was not bad, but I don't feel that she really addressed the question, because the question was asking, as Miss Universe, how would you speak about leadership for women? Whereas her answer stated that I don't need a title to be working on that cause, which I found a bit strange, because they're really asking you if given the title. So why would you say that? I like the fact that she spoke about her own initiative, which she closely works with. She also spoke about having women in her family, having been raised and grown up around women. However, there was a lack of a punchline or something that I was looking for towards the end that would have sealed the deal with this answer. Overall, not a bad answer. Delivery was great. She just looked so regal and came across as such a winner contestant. When I saw her on stage walking out when she was announced in the top 21, her evening gown, it was just gold, but oh my god, just her entry, the way she took power over the stage. She was owning it, she was taking power, and I loved the aura that she had created. Now, coming to the final statement for Dominican Republic, the topic was global poverty, so let's see how she did.
Durante esta pandemia,
During this pandemic,
mi país, República Dominicana,
my country, the Dominican Republic,
asumió el 23% en pobreza.
has risen to 23% poverty rate.
Para mí, estar aquí al frente de ustedes, pudiendo representar a la República Dominicana,
For me, being able to be in front of you guys, representing the Dominican Republic,
es un gran orgullo poder decir que va a ayudar a nuestro turismo, que nosotros los seres humanos
that makes me incredibly proud that it will help my tourism and that us as human beings,
tenemos que tener en cuenta que son muchas personas que están allá afuera que los podemos ayudar a sobrepasar todas esas cosas.
that we have to realize there are so many people out there that need our help and that we can overcome anything.
Gracias.
Very generic final statement, I would say, because the topic here was global poverty. While I love the fact that Dominican Republic was able to throw in a few statistics, I always admire that about contestants, because it just shows that you really know what you're talking about, you've done your homework. But since the topic was global poverty, and I think she made it too narrowed down to just her country and how her being at Miss Universe will help Dominican Republic get out of that situation, the increasing poverty that their country has faced during the pandemic. But I feel that since the topic said global, you should have addressed a broader narrative and spoken about poverty at a global level, because you are going as Miss Universe. And so if there had been a solution oriented answer again to how Miss Universe, the title, is going to help her speak against poverty no matter which country it is in, I think maybe that would have amped up the answer. And so overall, considering both the answer and final statement, I think Dominican Republic had really good answers. They were well balanced, but there was no sealing the deal. Like I said, there was no powerful impact that happened to me. I think I'm more in love with her look and her as an image of a beauty queen rather than what she's actually saying. And so, like I always say, it's a balance of both presentation, delivery, as well as the content that you are saying in pageants. The next country that we're going to be looking at is Peru, a huge fan favorite. She was there in my top 21 leaderboard as well, and we all know that Peru and Mexico were both favorites for the winner position, and a lot of people were expecting Peru to win. So let's see how she did in her answer and final statement.
What would you say to the women watching tonight who are currently experiencing sexual or domestic abuse? I will tell them that I admire their strength, that they're survivors, and that I've been there too. I became the hero of my own story. That's why I advocate to save little girls from being victims. They're survivors, they're heroes. They have the power, and don't ever, ever make anyone silence your voice.
I love the emotion that is there in Peru's answer. And one thing that stood out to me is how she was addressing the victims directly and how she was helping them feel stronger, that I admire your strength and we've all been there, and how empathy is so important. And I love Peru's answer. It was the most heartfelt and genuine answer I feel among all top 5, also because of the topic that was given to her. But the only thing that I see a bit of here is the way she was moving, her body language, the delivery. It just felt, even when she picked up the card with the number for the question, the way she was standing, it was just the overall image of a Miss Universe that I was not able to really see there. And so that is why I feel that Miss Peru may have lost out on the scores just a teeny bit because of the body language. Otherwise, the way she speaks, I don't think anybody else in top 5 had given a more wholesome answer to any of the questions so far. Now for the final statement, the topic given to Miss Peru was climate change. Now I do feel that sexual and domestic violence and climate change both are pretty easy, predictable topics to be speaking about. And Peru did exactly that. She delivers authenticity, she delivers emotion. Let's see what she had to say on climate change.
It is our collective responsibility to start taking action in order to save our planet. Just by little, we can start making a difference. Little by recycling, by teaching young generations about taking care of our beautiful, beautiful earth. We're just here for one time, and this is the time that we have to start taking care of it. Thank you.
Okay, I love Peru, that little smile at the end that she did. It was really cute. And I love the fact she started off her answer directly, like really to the point. It is our collective effort. She directly uses a solution-oriented approach, which I really love in contestants. I wish that she had added something like maybe save it for the future generations. But even without that, I think the whole answer was really well thought out of. The delivery was great. Only thing that still bugs me here is the body language. And I'm not saying it's a bad body language. I'm saying it's a great body language for another platform, for another stage. Because we all know that when it comes to international pageants such as Miss World and Miss Universe, there's a certain poise that they're still looking for in the title holder. No matter what type of question is thrown at you, a true beauty pageant queen and a winner does not really show that it affected her emotionally. You have to maintain a certain composure in your answers when you're speaking. That is really what is expected of a title holder. And so while Peru would be a great speaker for any other platform, This delivery point is the only thing where I feel that as a Miss Universe judge, she might have lost on the score a bit because of the body language and all the movements, and maybe that's not what they're looking for. And so that brings us to an end of the review of the top 5 contestants, their Q&A rounds, as well as their final statement performances. No matter which country we really support, if you look at them solely as contestants, I think it's very clear that Mexico and Brazil were the most consistent performers if you look at just the top 5. Obviously, the closed door interview holds 60% of weightage of the whole score, and we don't really know what happened there. But again, the judges have a different perspective always, and they're also observing the contestants throughout the duration of the pageant. So there are factors that we are not aware of as the audience. However, the key point that I want to highlight in my review here is that Mexico, I believe, has ended up winning the Miss Universe title, and consistency has played a huge role in it. I always say this in my sessions that you excelling in a certain segment of the pageant does not compensate for your lack of performance in another. You have to be a well-rounded contestant, you have to be an all-rounder, and consistency from the day one of the pageant to the finale moment till the very last second till you get that crown, consistency is very, very important. And so that's really what I think played in her favor. That was a really smart work. If you want to know more about strategizing about pageant performances and how pageants really work, it's not just a competition, there's also a lot of planning and strategy that goes into winning a pageant, then don't forget to check out Conquer with Nikita Tanwani, my very own pageant training program, where I reveal a lot more secrets like this and help you prepare for your pageants. I really hope you guys liked this video. If you did, don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up, and also don't forget to subscribe to my channel and turn on the notification bell so that you don't miss out on any new episodes that I post. As always, I love you guys so much, and I will see you very soon in my next video. Bye bye.